264 million people suffer from anxiety. So the first thing you have to know is that you are definitely not alone if you've landed on this page. My guess is that you do suffer from anxiety and you're trying to figure out the best ways to help you in your treatment. And so that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video, is the different types of anxiety according to the DSM, which is the tool used in America for labeling or diagnosing somebody with anxiety. And so back in the DSM IV, and now the DSM V, there have been some changes in terms of anxiety. So in the DSM IV, they used to take PTSD and OCD and they would lump it into anxiety, and that is no longer. It is now taken out and put into separate chapters. And so I'll go into those two forms of what used to be anxiety in another video, but what I want to talk about today is what is the criteria, what are the different types of anxiety according to the DSM-5. And what I would love to know in the comments below is, do you suffer from anxiety? And after listening to this YouTube video, which anxiety do you feel that you suffer from the most? Okay, so the first one is selective mutism. Selective mutism is typically found with children where they are unable to talk in certain situations. So a lot of times, I was a school counselor for many, many years. We had a few children that would come in and they would have selective mutism at school. It was a really overwhelming environment for them, but at home they were able to communicate with their parents. So that is kind of the definition of selective mutism. Yes, it happens in adults, but it is far more common in children than it is in adults. And so they just can't speak in certain situations. Then there is the second type of DSM diagnosis, which would be specific phobias. And sometimes you might hear people say, you know, I have a fear of flying, I have a fear of certain animals or snakes or lizards. They have a fear of environments where they, you know, have massive panic attacks if there's a storm or fires or tornadoes or earthquakes or anything like that. Going to the doctor's office, getting shots, that would be a very specific phobia that people have. Now, social anxiety is the third type of phobia that is very, very common, where people get very overwhelmed in certain situations, whether it be out in public, whether it be at somebody's house where they know that there's going to be a lot of people and they have extreme fear of a social situation. And then finally, the last one is a panic disorder. And a panic disorder is reoccurring panic attacks. And a panic attack is described as signs of dizziness, chest pain, nausea, shaking, vomiting, rapid heart rates, the list goes on and on. And so those are the common DSM-5 diagnoses of anxiety. And if you're looking for more information about these different phobias, make sure you subscribe to this channel so that you can dive in deeper and tell me in the description of this video what is your specific anxiety that you personally have. And this is Julie Reynolds for another episode of Julie Reynolds Belly Brain TV.